Every single year, a new wave of millionaires are made through e-commerce. Not in a year, not in a month, not in a week, literally in a weekend. I've seen people go from being worth a couple $100,000 to over $1 million, all through a single weekend. And the brands that are planning on doing over $1 million in one weekend aren't waiting until November to scramble and get everything together. They're preparing for it right now, or they've already been preparing for it for the last couple weeks because they know how important this is. And if you're not doing the same, you're already behind. But luckily for you, it's not too late, kind of. Because in this video, I'm going to walk through everything, and I mean everything you need step by step to set yourself up for Q4, essentially revealing the difference between brands that do just okay on Black Friday and brands that are pulling over 7 figures in a single weekend. And I've seen it done firsthand with a couple of our clients last year, and it's genuinely life-changing. So let's get into it. Now, why does Black Friday turn brands into millionaires? It's a very general and shocking statement, but before I show you that and exactly how to scale, you won't even be close to getting to that point without actually understanding why Q4 is so important when scaling to 7 figures. Every Q4, specifically every year, the last 3 months of the year, that's Q4, a new wave of e-commerce millionaires are minted, but it's not all luck, it's simply logistics. Q4 is a goldmine. I think in 2023, US shoppers spent close to $10 million of sales just online. And then the year after went up 35%. And then 40% of those sales made up were on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And I think like a huge percentage of that was also email and SMS. So the numbers are there. To put it simply, this is going to be the biggest weekend of the year for any and every e-commerce brand. And everyone's scrambling to plan for it, but no one knows how to. And the brands that are winning aren't the ones that are going to outspend on ads. I mean, they will be. It's because they have been preparing well in advance, not waiting until Q4 to start building. They're ready right now, equipped with the team ready to scale, running a backend that monetizes every single click. But what do these systems actually look like? And how can you properly prepare for Q4, even if you're literally just starting out right now? There's a company that we're working with now. They started 2 months ago. They're already doing $4 million a month. It's absolutely absurd. It's all down to the right preparations. The first step to getting yourself up for Q4 success is building the right team. If you're watching this thinking, yeah, I'll wait till, November comes around and, I could hire a few people a week or two before. No service provider is going to want to work with you. No one's going to be ready to onboard and take everything that you are wanting to put in place and get it done within a week. It's just not humanly possible, and you need to get ahead of that. Doesn't matter how much money you throw at someone. Last year, 2 weeks before Black Friday, there were brands that were throwing 5, 10K retainers, wanting to get things set up in like 5 days. And I told them straight up, I'm like, hey, listen, this isn't going to be possible. You should have reached out to us, 2-3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. There is a very fine line amount of time. And I think in mid-October, if you don't have at least an idea of what you're doing in November, then you're cooked. You're so cooked, because at least in October, you will have at least 2 weeks time for you to be like, okay, November's coming. We're going to be launching our Black Friday initiatives or our sales or our offers at the start of the month. That's the most important part for you to understand. You should not be launching your Black Friday offer on Black Friday. You have to start it well in advance. You should be starting it as an early Black Friday offer. Some of the brands that we're working with are starting it literally as soon as November hits. Everyone's already in the mood to buy. Everyone's already starting to understand, oh, Black Friday is right around the corner. And most importantly, billion-dollar brands are already taking advantage of this messaging. They're understanding that, hey, rather than having a week worth of sales, what if we just had a month worth of sales and we have more customers? Or more importantly, we have brands that are moving literally in the midst of October and they're already starting to talk about Black Friday to the customers, because they're going to get ahead of their competitors. They're going to set that narrative in that customer's brain and let them know that, hey, these guys will have something going for Black Friday. Let me go and set aside some money so I'm able to purchase with them. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to go ahead and just buy from them straight away because they're having their Black Friday sale. Moral of the story, don't wait until actually the day of. Start a week before, start 2 weeks before, start 3 weeks before. These are your customers and you want to be able to give them the best offer possible, and don't just offer it to them for a short amount of time, because guess what? If you do that, they'll just end up spending their money elsewhere. Realistically speaking, while you're waiting, there's already brands that are ready. They have their teams in place. They're not scrambling to hire right now. If anything, they're just getting backups, right? This Black Friday weekend is going to be one for the books, right? It's going to be better than last year, the year before, right? One thing that you should understand about Black Friday weekend is speed. Speed will always win. Make sure you have someone managing each aspect of your business, whether it's your customer service, your meta, your Google, your retention. Your ops team needs to have their hands down to a T. They understand what's going on. If you have a team in place and you haven't organized all these things and you haven't gone on call syncing up the timelines with the teams, then do it right now. Because the truth is, even a small prepared team, like some of the brands you work with are doing over $1 million a month with like 3-4 people on their internal team, including customer service and everything like that. And they have 1 or 2 agencies and they're already at that scale, right? So you don't need to have 20-30 people. You need to have a small, lean team that's ready, and most importantly, they understand how important this weekend is. Before Black Friday, so you can hit those highs, consider working with the best of the best agencies, especially if you're not able to put together a team. Obviously with us, we've worked with hundreds of real brands, taking them from a few $1,000s a day to well over hundreds of thousands of dollars per day, and obviously helping them scale past $1 million, specifically on drops, right? Drops absolutely crush for Black Friday weekend. Right? If you're launching something new with a new offer, with everything, it's amazing. If you are interested with that, click the link in the description, book a call, start preparing for Q4 right away. We're probably going to stop onboarding, like I mentioned, mid-October, because, you know, we want to be able to put focus on that. And by the way, any good agency will stop onboarding at a certain degree because they're going to put their main clients first, or the main brands they're working with, right? You're human at the end of the day. Act like it. Don't expect to take on 100 brands. And more importantly, don't act like you can hire an agency and they're going to get things done within 5 seconds. Step 2, prep for extreme scale before you scale. Are you even ready to do $1 million in a day? Are you even ready to handle the COGS, the inventory, everything like that? Is your customer service team ready? Are they able to understand and handle all that volume? So you need to understand, it's never the lack of demand that breaks them, it's the weak infrastructure. Something that no one bats an eye at because they're too focused on the wrong things. You as a brand owner, you need to forecast these things and understand, oh shit, am I even ready for this, right? You don't want to be running into issues halfway through scale and then boom, your payment processor goes down. Most brands think they're ready until they get 10x the traffic and they're not able to handle all that. They don't have enough inventory, they don't have enough customer service, they're getting chargebacks out the ass, and you know, that's one thing that you need to set yourself up for. Do you have a fulfillment line for the next 5,000 plus orders in a weekend? Are you retargeting your customers and letting them know that, hey, we're gonna have delays this weekend, so be patient, don't charge back on us because the product's not there in 5 days. Scaling around Black Friday isn't about throwing money at Meta, it's about eliminating every single bottleneck you have before you scale, because then the scaling part's easy, right? So right now, you need to be thinking ahead and dialing in the foundations that are actually going to support your growth. Stress test your site now, line up your fulfillment capacity, reach out to your suppliers, negotiate terms, right? Make sure that you're getting the best situation possible out of this weekend. And more importantly, this month, this upcoming month. The fun doesn't just happen on the weekend, like I said, it's through the entirety of the month. Customers are going to be lining up, being ready to purchase from you, right? They're going to be wanting to get gifts for their family, their friends. Give them a reason, make sure everything's good, and don't give them a shitty experience, because once they buy from you and they have a shitty experience, guess what? They will never buy from you again. So that moves into step 3, why the back end is the real millionaire maker. Even though Black Friday is cheap, you know, you're pushing 60, 70, 80% offs, most of the profits are made on the back end, right? So you're not paying for those customers. Email flows, welcome series, abandoned carts, post-purchase upsells, winbacks can account for upwards of 30, 40, 50% of your Q4 revenue. SMS converts 3 times higher than any email during Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. Segmentation is literally the key for you to go ahead and be happy and have happy customers, because why are you still emailing customers that haven't received the products? Like, think about these things, you know? Brands with a dialed email and SMS backend are going to absolutely make an additional 30, 40% of their revenue this upcoming month. That's why you'll see some brands put in 300,000 and walk away with $1 million in a weekend, right? Because they have these systems in place and they're preventing those leaking buckets, and there's people in the back end that are actually purchasing from you. So build flows that will run without having to have any issues. Segment by behavior, not just demographic. Turn one-time customers into repeat profit machines, right? You can set up subscriptions, you can set up recurring, right? That's one way to go about it. But you can also set up a really nice offer that will make your customers want to buy 2, 3, 4, 5 versions of your product in a single purchase. And we've seen that happen before because you're pushing this very limited time offer that's going to do great. Keep that in mind when Black Friday comes around. Step 4, your timeline to start. Now, as I've said 10 times in this video so far, the brands that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars on that special weekend basically started their planning before this video even went out. The worst thing you can do right now is wait until October and then November and then the week before, right? And then start thinking about, oh, I should probably, let's spin up a few emails and let's go ahead and send that out. No, your timeline should look something like this. September, obviously now it's at the end of it. You should have already been discussing what you're planning on doing, but October, right? You want to make sure that you're setting up your guys' Black Friday flows.